The fastest way to make yourself want something is to tell yourself you're not allowed to have it. Think about the last thing you tried desperately not to think about. A person, a message, a craving, a forbidden thought. You told yourself, stop thinking about it, and somehow it became impossible to stop. That isn't weakness. There's something much stranger happening inside your brain. The moment you try to force a thought away, part of your mind has to keep checking whether you're still thinking about it. And that creates a trap. Imagine I tell you, whatever you do, don't picture a red door. Now try not to picture it. You probably saw it instantly. The more you fight the thought, the more your brain keeps bringing it back just to check if it's gone. And this is where suppression becomes dangerous, because sometimes you don't actually want the thing as much as you think you do. You want it more because you've been told you shouldn't. A person suddenly becomes more attractive when they become unavailable. A food suddenly becomes more tempting when you put yourself on a strict diet. A message becomes more important when you promise yourself you won't send it. And a thought becomes louder when you desperately try to silence it. But why? Because the human brain doesn't respond to "don't think about it" the way you expect. It responds by monitoring the forbidden thing. Your brain essentially asks, "Am I thinking about it?" And to answer that question, it has to bring the thought back into awareness. So you try harder to suppress it. Your brain checks again. You notice it again. You get frustrated. You suppress it harder. And suddenly, the thing you wanted to forget is occupying more space in your mind than before. But there's an even deeper reason desire can become stronger. Suppression can turn something ordinary into something emotionally significant. Before you were told you couldn't have it, maybe it was just a thought. After you suppress it, your brain starts attaching emotion to it. Curiosity, frustration, anticipation, even obsession. Think about someone you used to casually talk to. You weren't thinking about them all day. Then one day, they stopped replying. Suddenly, you check your phone. Nothing. You tell yourself you don't care. You check again. Still nothing. And now your mind starts creating questions. Why didn't they reply? Are they talking to someone else? Did I do something wrong? What would happen if they messaged me right now? Notice what happened. Their absence created a psychological space, and your brain hates unfinished spaces, so it starts filling them with imagination. This is why uncertainty can feel more addictive than certainty. When something is completely available, your brain can understand it. But when something is restricted, uncertain, or unfinished, your imagination takes over. And imagination can make something far more powerful than reality. This is also why telling yourself, "I absolutely cannot have this," can make the desire feel almost unbearable. You're no longer just wanting the thing. You're fighting yourself over the thing. And every time you fight that desire, you give it attention. Every time you check whether you still want it, you think about it again. Every time you tell yourself to stop, you remind yourself what you're trying to stop. That's the paradox. Sometimes, the struggle to eliminate a desire is exactly what keeps it alive. But there's a way out, and it begins with something that feels completely wrong. Stop fighting the thought. If a desire appears, you don't have to obey it. But you also don't have to panic about it. You can simply notice it. I'm having this thought. I'm feeling this urge. I want this right now. And then let it exist without immediately turning it into an action. Because a desire is not a command. An urge is not an instruction, and a thought is not a prophecy. You can experience something without becoming controlled by it. The moment you stop treating the desire like an enemy, something changes. You stop feeding it with resistance. And eventually, the intensity can begin to fall on its own. That's the strange truth about desire. Sometimes, what feels impossible to resist isn't becoming stronger because you truly need it. It's becoming stronger because you keep fighting its existence. So the next time your mind tells you, "I need this," pause. Ask yourself, do I actually want this? Or have I simply spent so much time trying not to want it that my brain has made it feel important? Because sometimes freedom doesn't come from getting what you desire. Sometimes it comes from realizing you never had to fight the desire in the first place. If you've ever experienced a desire becoming stronger the more you tried to suppress it, share what happened in the comments. And if you want more psychology that explains the hidden patterns behind human behavior, subscribe.